Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today. Just let's swing by the zoo up in Orange and walk around. It's just a beautiful spot. But guys, we are living through 2008 all over again. And just a matter of time until everybody realizes how serious this is. And before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to join the email list below. But let's get right into it today. Uh, this is really a nice spot, by the way. The zoo, got mountain lions up here. It's a really nice facility. And based on how the weather is, sometimes you get different animals that are out here. It just depends. But the one and only Elon Musk said that we're in for a huge problem right now. We haven't seen anything yet, and that this is going to be much worse than 2008, and we're in the thick of it right now. And the first thing he's talking about is the tech layoffs. The tech layoffs that we all experience are just a blip, in the cycle. It's no big deal. It's not the end of the world, but it adds to the problem of the mortgage problem. The problem with these people not being able to make their mortgage payments is going to be a huge problem, and you're going to see massive defaults that are going to come out relatively soon. Okay, that being said, people lose their jobs, they can't make their house payments, they got to sell their house, they inevitably have to lower the house price to get rid of the house. That's the thinking. The other thing is that there is a huge, massive amount of commercial loans that are about to default and about to be called in. Unbelievable. There's a report that he references, and you can read the story below, where there's, think about this, over the next 5 years that are coming due, where people have to refinance or they have to pay them off, $2.5 trillion in commercial real estate. $2.5 trillion. Now, the problem with this is that businesses are having a very difficult time. Small businesses having a very difficult time. The majority of the banks that own this real estate are smaller banks. It's not the big banks. So with that being said, the smaller banks that own this commercial paper for commercial loans, seeing the defaults and seeing the problems. Businesses are going down. These places are going to go down. These places are going to have massive defaults over the course of the next few years. And it's only going to get escalated month by month by month right now. So when it comes to the property and the sales of all these properties, um, you know, people have talked, ridiculous things about, hey, let's turn all the office buildings into homeless shelters. Let's turn them into places to live. This is just not as easy as anybody thinks. You just can't take a commercial building and say, hey, we're going to make this a residential, uh, apartment complex. It just doesn't work that way. You have to have everything built into it to make it residential, parking, you know, uh, egress, people, ways to get out of the property so that nobody's going to, burn to death if there's a fire and things like that. And it's just not as simple as people think. So they're trying to do this around the world right now, but it's not going to happen. But Elon says this is the problem right now. This area is loaded with wild peacocks. There's a perfect example, one right there. But what do you guys think about this? I think that we haven't seen anything yet. The retail debacle that we're living through right now is just the beginning right now. Ooh, look at this Black Panther right here. Look at this guy. Hey, buddy. Look at this guy. Isn't that cool? Hi. Why don't you go play with the ball again? Anyways, it's kind of a cool spot. The zoo's open, from like 10 until 3. Hey, buddy. How are you? Imagine getting caught with that thing. Wow. Hello. So, Elon is talking about how bad. Oh, look at, there's a great shot. Elon's talking about how he feels he got fleeced on Twitter, which is his own problem. But What do you guys think about this? Do you think that the real estate debacle is going to get worse? I think that this is just the beginning of this right now. So share your thoughts on this. One thing that's interesting is French prosecutors have raided a bunch of French banks right now. And instead of it just being, hey, we're concerned about the financial stability, they're talking about French tax cheats, that they're opening accounts and closing accounts based on these dividend payments and making it so that foreign investment can go in and have accounts and not pay taxes on this. And what they've done is they went into these French banks to seize the records. That's what they're telling everybody. They're telling everybody that's what they're doing this for. And there's a peacock buddy again. But the idea with this is, you guys have seen what's going on over in France, and there's a lot more to it than that, it looks like. So read the story below, but it's very interesting to see the problems with these French banks and with the tax collection and how they're cracking down on all these banks. If you do not believe that the banks have major problems on their hands, then you have no idea. And Elon Musk is right. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You're going to see credit unions have problems because of bad car loans and how people cannot afford cars, which brings up a couple good points. Toyota just announced that people need to prepare themselves for the $50,000 figure. Well, what does that mean? That means the average car is going to go to 50 grand. Think about this. 20 years ago, did you ever think, hey, I'm going to drive a $50,000 car? Most people no. Okay, I refuse to myself. I buy used cars. That's my thing. And nice cars, low mileage, try to find out who the owner was, try to figure things out so I don't get fleeced and I don't get, somebody's headache that I'm buying. But I'd rather have somebody else have the depreciation and lose the value on the purchase of their car. That's how I like to do it. So, So, $50,000 car. Isn't that crazy to think about? The other thing is that the EV car charging is such a problem right now in China. How about this? Have you ever heard of this? There is different car companies that will do exchanges for your battery. In other words, you can take the battery out of the car as you drive it, pull over, go to a battery changing station, and they will change the battery out. You're out in minutes. Okay? You have to sit around and wait for it. Just change the battery out. And that way you don't have to worry about going there and dealing with having to wait for charging times. The main company that does this is a company called NIO, but there are thousands of these charging stations in China, and they want to build 1,200 of these battery exchange stations here in the United States, so that certain vehicles you can come out and just exchange the batteries. So you would say, oh, there's a new battery here. So kind of a cool thing, Oh, hey, look, the bears are out. Isn't that neat? This brown bear walking around. So many different things with the EV cars. The big problem right now is the expense. It's just too expensive to have these cars. Everybody knows that. Mr. Bear walking by. Grabbing a stick. It's kind of cool. Okay. Great little zoo. Really clean, really nice. It's just a fun place to walk around. Here's a couple things that people have asked quite a bit for over the course of the last month. The first one is foreclosure.com. If you guys want a 7-day free trial, the link is below. You can get the foreclosure list for foreclosure.com around the country, absolutely free. They'll give you a free 7-day trial. Use the link below and you can get that. And the other one is the VPN company that I use, which is private internet access. Guys, it is, think about this. When you go out and you're in public and use public Wi-Fi, you need to protect yourself. You need to protect your banking, your email, your keystrokes from everybody, from the bad guys, from the government, from absolutely everybody. That's why I use private internet access, guys. The link is below. They have 82% off. It's the best one, guys. And people have just asked about those lately in a lot of emails. Okay, the links will be below if you guys would like to see those. Okay, check them out today. Cat's just hanging out. Hello, kitty. Now, one thing that is very fascinating is Jeffrey Gundlach, who is a financier and what they call the bond king. Jeffrey's an interesting guy because he's talking about how we are seeing major headwinds in the economy, and we're going to definitely see a recession come out of this. And people need to get themselves ready for this right now. And normally, a recession is preceded by an inverted yield curve, which is basically what this means is that the 2-year bonds pay more interest than the 10-year bonds, which is what we've seen for months now. So if this is any indication, you could see this thing, escalate completely out of control. To get yourself ready, you have to look at Philadelphia right now. Philadelphia gets a warning about their drinking water, and nobody was prepared. Okay? Really foolish, really stupid, too, because, I've had so many people write me in the last 24 hours and say, Dan, you know what? I've got so much water in my house right now. I was ready for this. And these poor people in Philadelphia that are fighting and trying to get water because it could be contaminated. What happens, guys? What happens if? And again, it's not to scare everybody, but you need to be prepared for this stuff. These people in charge don't care about us. And if you get that they're going to be reactionary and not proactive, they're going to, yeah, I've never seen this before. Okay, well then you should be ready for this. Make sure you have extra food in the house. Look at this little guy, little prairie dog out there. Make sure you've got food in the house. Make sure you've got extra water in the house. I've had people say, when I say I could live here a year, I've had people say, they're going to come rob you. They're going to come do this. Guys, okay, come on. Get yourself ready. Get yourself prepared. In a perfect world, you hope you never get to that point that you have to use this stuff, but isn't it great? Like everybody says, I'm going to Dan's house. That's what I've heard over the last 24 hours. Yeah. Cash out of the bank, food in the house, dry goods. How would you eat? Okay. What about the water? Okay. Doesn't that concern you? The Philadelphia thing? You just send out a text message. Get ready. Is it like everybody, or is it just this one area? Well, would you have faith in these people? Okay. No, not at all. So, Jeffrey Gundlach talking about the headwinds of a recession and how bad it could get. Just the beginning. Just the beginning, guys. The recession is here, guys. We are in it. What we're going to head into is going to be much worse. When you see all these people go out of business in the I've had so many people reach out to me and say, we're really worried now about losing our jobs, really worried about how we're going to make the house payment. Yeah, you got to get ready. You got to prepare for this. Prepare for the worst case scenario. Nobody does that. People that do that, oh, you're crazy. You're just a doom and gloomer. No, take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of your own home. Take care of yourself. Work on your health. Work on your finances, and make sure that you're ready in case something like this happens. These poor people in Philadelphia, it's a perfect example of how, you don't want to be going to a store at the last minute. It's the last thing you want to do. So look at this little guy. Huh? So share your thoughts on this stuff so far. And have you heard the Jeffrey Gundlach worry? His little worry statement. More warnings from people. A man named Joe Brulas, he's a financier, who's talking about how we're definitely going to see a major recession in the second half of 2023. And again, I don't know where these people shop. I don't know where they go out to dinner at. I don't know what they do, for a living other than give their financial advice and talk about how we're heading into difficult times. We're living through them right now, guys. We're not heading anywhere. The car broke down and we're stuck, sitting there waiting for this stuff. So with that being said, it's kind of interesting to think about. One thing that happened 5 years ago, Ford got out of the car business and they just started making trucks. That's what they told us. Here's the thing. Ford is still making cars like the Ford Taurus, which I had a Ford Taurus at one time when I was a sales rep. It was a decent little work car, four-door, drove well, comfortable, good air conditioning, a great heater on the thing. But, they still make the Ford Taurus. Isn't that crazy? They make it for Saudi Arabia. Isn't that wild to think about? They're making gas cars that they sell out of the United States. That is unbelievable, man, when you think about that. We have none of this stuff. They're trying to shove the EV cars down our throats, and Ford's making the Ford Taurus, someplace else. Think about this, guys. Remember 3 years ago, you could find entry-level cars for kids, young people, college students. They could find an inexpensive vehicle that they could go out and buy, and it would be small, compact. You'd see them, parked at the shopping malls and things like that. No such thing anymore, guys. They've all stopped making this stuff. And to find out the Ford Taurus is selling this car, they sell a ton of them in Saudi Arabia. Isn't that wild to think about? So read the story below. But that one just really stuck with me. I'm thinking, why would you not do that? Hey, Mr. Coyote. I'd like to see them feed that guy. But, oh, look at the leopard. In the corner. The leopard over there. So, anyways. Walk over here. Get a better shot for you. Isn't that funny? Cat seems so nice, and then you probably go in there, it would just probably do some serious damage, rip your eyes out, rip your heart out. Like most women, you know what I mean? Oh, it's missing a leg. That's a bummer. I just caught that. Oh, wow, look at that. See that? Okay. Anyways. This bobcat's 15 years old. Okay? Or the bobcat. I don't know if that's the bobcat. But anyways, share your thoughts on all this stuff so far, guys. You're going to see a lot of consolidation with business right now. You're going to see companies buy other companies because it fits. Sometimes it doesn't fit. One thing that's interesting is Amazon, okay, is looking at AMC theaters right now. They own Amazon Prime. They've got their own network. And this would be a way to control the media. And, you buy your Amazon Prime, you get free movie tickets. The AMC stock shot up a ton when this was announced, but it will be interesting to see if they pull this off or not. But this is the beginning of this. Robert Shiller, who is that? Robert Shiller is the man that invented the Case-Shiller Index, the housing index, and he just stepped forward. He's now a Harvard professor, and Mr. Shiller stepped forward and says, anybody looking at a house right now should wait because of affordability, should wait until things slow down, at least 6 months if you can put off the home purchase. Now, I have had literally dozens of people write me over the last couple days talking about how they, their spouse wants to buy the house, they don't want to, what should we do, what would you recommend if you were in this relationship. And here's what I'm going to recommend you guys do. If you don't see that the writing is on the wall, you're kidding yourself. Now, are you so wealthy you don't care if the price of a house goes down? Seriously, you know the answer to that right away. Oh no, Dan, we're borrowing 90% of the value of our home to get this thing. Nice big brown bear or black bear or whatever that is. And the shade looks black to me. But anyways, you know, can you afford that? That's what people need to ask themselves right now. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to sit there and say, I'm going to wait just a little bit just to be cautious. Well, Mr. Schiller, there's the guy that I would listen to, because he's talking about the unaffordability of mortgages right now and how you get less home for your dollar than you did a year ago, but prices have gone up and are still elevated. So you get less than you did a year ago and you're paying more for it. If you have gold credit and you have the perfect situation, you talked about how mortgages were at 6.4%. And again, over 2.5% higher than they were a year ago. But jump into it, guys. Jump in, you know, with your suit on. The raccoons. Okay. The neighborhood I live in is loaded with raccoons, and at night they go through and rip up people's grass and look for worms, especially with all the rain. It's fantastic. I mean, you just get this destruction. You wake up in the morning and the grass is just peeled off of lawns right now. But these guys are great. So, what do you guys think about this? What happened to having a little patience right now? One thing I always recommend when it comes to buying a house, try this. Go to the neighborhood. Rent in the neighborhood right now. Okay? And also, you know, a friend, realtor, that talks about, if you put 20% down, could you rent this house out for what your payment is? That's the question you need to ask yourself, because if you can't, then the thing's upside down. A friend of mine showed me a house, the cracked in, sold it for $940. People bought it for $940. They fixed it up. It's beautiful. They have it listed for $1.3 million. If you put 20% down in that house, the payment would be about $7,000 to $8,000 a month. The neighborhood rents for $3,500. Okay, so kind of a problem. So everybody needs to make this decision on what works for them. Okay. Another thing that's fantastic is our buddy Sam Bankman-Fried. The court is fed up with him. This guy is out on $250 million faux bail. Okay, you and I, they'd have to put up collateral to get that. You know, this his deal was basically, you know, an IOU written on, you know, a gum wrapper, and they let him out of jail. But he's upset, and the court's upset because this guy's playing video games. He's on the internet, talking to people, and they just, you know, made more restrictions for him for his bail. And, you know, he can only go to certain websites. He can go to YouTube. So Sam Bankman-Fried can watch iAllegedly. So see iAllegedly on YouTube, okay? So I want to Samuel do that. So it's kind of ridiculous. You can't play video games. This is the mastermind that was behind a $30 billion scam. And he's upset that he can't play his video games. Okay? The world's upside down, guys. That's the youth of today, concerned about video game play. And again, watch iAllegedly on YouTube, Sam. Okay? So hopefully he's watching right now. Okay? Give it a thumbs up, buddy. I'm going to finish this video with these last couple stories. Are you sick of what you pay for auto insurance? I am. It's outrageous. Think about this. During the health crisis, we got such a good deal on auto insurance from certain carriers, like I have State Farm. State Farm gave rebates to people because they were not driving. I was one of those people. I got like 3 months free. I got all the shenanigans that they gave us. They anticipate that their rates are going to go up in 2023, $264 million in California alone. And the reason for that is that all these people that got all these incentives when the health crisis was going on, they're over with. So now they're making everybody pay their fair share. That is crazy, guys. The Washington Commanders, Washington Redskins, the football team, they just got 2 competing offers to buy that team. Guess how much? For that football team that doesn't have the name anymore. Okay? Yeah. $6 billion. And the reason why that's news here in California is that the one and only Magic Johnson is one of the potential bidders. $6 billion for a football team. Okay? So not the Redskins, guys. Don't confuse them. They're not the Washington Redskins anymore. They're the Commanders, the girl squad. Okay? Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join the email list. And I will see you guys very soon. Onward and upward.